The Snowden interview has caused some controversy. Earlier, I spoke to Cully Stimson of the Heritage Foundation and asked for his reaction.
Well, he's obviously strong-minded, articulate, convinced he did the right thing, and convinced that in the course of time that he'll be proven right. He's very cocksure and confident.
Well, in the interview, Snowden said that he feels that he is a patriot. Quote, being a patriot doesn't mean prioritizing service to government above all else. It means knowing when to protect your country, your constitution, your countrymen from the violations of and encroachments of adversaries. Do you feel he's a patriot because of what he did, or do you consider him more of a traitor?
He's a criminal. I don't disagree with his general comment, but I would only add that when you're a patriot, you follow the law. And if you disagree with the law, you work within the law to change the law. And there were a variety of mechanisms that he could have used, including the Qui Tam Act, to bring to the attention of the authorities within the legal structure his concerns about the legality of the programs. Now, the fact that he doesn't get the answer that he wants, which is that it's illegal, is not surprising, because 3 coordinate branches of government in 2 very different administrations have all concluded that the programs were constitutional. And so he is a disgruntled employee and decided to take the law in his own hands and thus committed major crimes.
Edward Snowden has hinted that he wants to come back to the United States. Attorney General Eric Holder says that he would, quote, engage in conversation but would not agree to clemency. And then you have the U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry saying that he simply has to man up and come home. First of all, do you think that he will return to the United States anytime soon? And if he does, what do you think will happen next, especially compared to those expectations of returning and being hailed as a hero to some people?
Well, I think name-calling aside, I think he should come back to the United States to face justice for the crimes he's committed. My understanding is that his attorney here in town in Washington has actually been very quietly discussing a potential plea bargain with the Justice Department, which would be appropriate. And it's appropriate for a number of reasons. Mainly in these high visibility, high-risk national security cases, the government does not want to expose or potentially expose further classified information in a trial. And so they have every incentive not to go to a contested trial. And of course, the criminal wants to get the credit for pleading guilty and not putting the government through it. So there is a meeting of the minds usually. Look at the Jonathan Pollard case, look at a lot of these other cases. And so I think he'll eventually come back to the United States. When, I don't know, and I think he'll eventually have a plea.
You know, it's been a year now since all of this came out. Do you think that Edward Snowden's revealing of the NSA's spying capabilities changed anything at all, or did it simply make everyone aware of its power?
Well, I mean, obviously it sparked a national and international conversation about programs that very few people in this country knew about. Certainly people who paid attention to the FISA Amendments Act and the debate we had back in 2008 and 9 knew that the programs were in existence. But yeah, it sparked a conversation. It was the wrong way to spark that conversation, but that's done. And so now it looks like the Congress is going to reform, and the President will sign some reform package. And now it's time for Snowden to face justice and go to jail for a period of time to be punished for what he did.
All right, Cully Stimson from the Heritage Foundation in Washington, D.C., thank you for your insight and for your perspective.